Good morning, everybody. My name is Sheldon Thellis. I am a travel consultant, personal travel consultant, and welcome to the second podcast of mine called Travel and Chill. As you can see, there's an extra guest with me, a snake, and I am petrified of snakes. However, I am going to be bold and go for it today. So without further introduction, I'm going to introduce you to Mila Smith. She's a relationship and dating coach. And over to you, Mila.
Hello, thank you very much, Sheldon.
Pleasure.
Pleasure to be here. So yes, this is Pedro, our pet corn snake, and I am Mila Smith, as you know, a relationship and dating coach, the founder of From Single to Couple Relationship and Dating Consultancy.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for the introduction. And what inspired you to start helping people going from single to finding real love?
It was, first of all, Sheldon, my personal experience, because going back 8-9 years ago, my personal life was a complete mess.
Yeah.
And I couldn't work out what I was doing wrong. So subsequently, when I've done a lot of work on myself and met my now husband, we both worked out that doing the same thing over and over again is the definition of insanity on Pedro's. And it's very important to look within and understand the hidden patterns and inhibitors which are preventing you from meeting the right person and keeping a good, healthy relationship.
Okay.
Because it's very easy to blame the rest of the world.
Absolutely.
Say, I've been unlucky, but in fact it has nothing to do with luck.
Yeah. And would you say there was like a light bulb moment where it just all of a sudden clicked, or was it in the making for quite a long time, or how would you?
I used to work in the corporate world for a very long time, and I liked the security. However, I started doing research and considering this as a business.
Yeah.
And when I came across an organization in the US called the Global Love Institute, which is the only body in the world of this kind, certifying matchmakers and relationship and dating coaches, all based on science and research.
Okay.
We can talk about it, I will explain. But probably access to that, to all those materials and knowledge and the official training and certification, I thought, wow, I really want to do it.
Nice. So this is the perfect segue going to the next question. Who do you usually work with? Is it in terms of heartbreak survivors, commitment folks, or a bit of everything?
Yes, probably the latter. I work with both men and women, and have quite a few male clients actually, so it's about 50-50.
Yeah.
And people come to me at any stage of their relationship journey, and sometimes they're just coming out of a relationship, going through a divorce. For example, I have a client who needs especially a lot of help getting over an ex, a toxic relationship in the past. Some people have been single for a while and they just don't know how to get back into dating. They're lacking confidence. And finally, I am actually coaching a client now who is in a relationship, in the early stages of a relationship. However, she's unsure and she's concerned she may be seeing the red flags. Yeah. So I don't work with couples. That's a separate, different qualification, such as a marriage counselor. However, I can help individuals to work on some strategies, help them with conflict resolution, and making their relationship let's say from good to great.
Okay, fantastic. And I mean, I think the world's changed. Prior to COVID, everyone met face to face. After COVID, everyone's on Teams or Zoom or whatever. How do you meet your clients? Is it face to face, or what's the best way?
I mainly meet them online, and it also gives me great coverage. I have some international clients at the moment, believe it or not. There was only a couple of clients who asked, because they were local, they asked for a face-to-face sessions, which I was happy to do.
Okay.
But it's not necessary.
Okay.
Zoom or Teams, it works just
fantastic.
well.
What's one of the myths about dating or finding the right partner you'd love to bust?
There's so many myths, Sheldon. Where do I start? We start picking up those myths and misconceptions when we're still young. Some are formed by religion, media, rom-coms, of course, and literature. And some myths are passed down generations, and we believe them just because our parents kept saying so. But one of the myths, and this is science-based, people seem to believe that sharing common taste in music, in food, sharing interests and hobbies is a key predictor of a relationship success in the long run.
Yeah.
However, this is a misconception, and let me explain why. So it's nice to have something we share, an interest or a hobby, at least one, be it doing a sport together or walking or gardening.
Yep.
That builds trust in the relationship, and that is beneficial. However, research finds that having common taste in music or food means nothing for relationship success.
Okay.
What does predict relationship success, one of the key factors, is sharing key life values.
Okay.
And that those are your core beliefs about various things such as family, money, career, health and nutrition, politics, social justice. So when you have, when you're aligned on those values, having different hobbies and interests in a long-term relationship is actually beneficial.
Okay.
Because you can go and do your separate things, you have some time to yourselves, and when you come back and share these experiences, it injects some excitement into a relationship, as opposed to just familiarity.
Yeah. Okay.
So when my husband tells me about what he got up to and what he did during the day with his friends, it's nice for me to hear. I see him as someone exciting. Yeah. And likewise, I do things by myself. We don't have to do them together all the time. Okay. So that's quite an interesting, very persistent myth. Yeah. But based on research, it's just not true.
Yeah. I think, generally speaking, most people think because they have something in common means they're the right match. But taking from what you said, it's more about values, which is scientifically proven. Yes. So hopefully we can take a lot from that going forward. Okay, so we're going on to a very important part where we find the link between travel and love, and exactly what Mila does. So love and the travel crossover. So Mila, over to you. So do you think travel helps people figure out who they are and maybe what kind of partner they really want in life?
Without a doubt, travel is one of the most significant eye-opening experiences we have in our lives. And the number one step in figuring out what partner is right for you is understanding yourself. And sometimes we get stuck in our day-to-day kind of rat race, boring and humdrum. And getting out of this comfort zone and going somewhere to really explore new places will trigger this process of self-discovery. Ask yourself certain questions along the way. Who am I? Okay. What do I want and what do I need? I think so a lot of people think like traveling on their own feels like they look like a loner or they feel lonely, but you may find interesting people on your journey. If you're traveling solo, it doesn't mean you're alone in the world. That's where you probably have the most excitement sometimes. Because I've sold a lot of solo packages to people and they come back feeling refreshed, rejuvenated, and I'm ready to actually to meet someone who meets their values, you know? Absolutely.
Yeah. So have you ever, is going on holiday early in a relationship a good idea or is it a bit risky? So if you just met someone, would you commit to spending 7, 10, 14 nights in the same hotel room doing things together? Is that a bit of a risky move?
The answer is, of course, when you're comfortable.
Okay.
And when you're comfortable, that means you have actually spent a few consecutive nights together.
Yeah.
Because if you really only just went on a few dates and maybe spent an odd night together, I don't think you truly know each other.
Okay.
And in this case, traveling together could potentially work against you.
Yeah.
If you find certain idiosyncrasies which are just too much, you're stuck in a hotel room or in a foreign country potentially for a week or two.
Yeah.
So start small.
Okay.
Maybe have a short break somewhere for a long weekend or something like that before you commit to a longer travel. But traveling solo is a great opportunity. And don't forget, when we're single, it's the best time for self-growth and discovery. Because when we are in relationships, inevitably we have to compromise on many things, and we don't always have the opportunity, we don't always have the time to reflect.
Yes.
And so this work is actually best done before you commit to a relationship.
Okay.
One of my favorite sayings is that the best time to work on a relationship is before it begins.
Yes. Okay. I love that.
Yeah.
So work on yourself first, and then everything.
Work on yourself first, and then it will be clearer and it will fall into place, as you say.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Fantastic. I'm going to flip the question. Have you ever met people who have met on holiday and they bring the romance back to their countries, for example? Does that generally work, or is that a myth that people think, okay, it's just holiday romance? What's your take on that?
It happens, and it can be either.
Okay.
Again, it really depends on whether you two share key life values, whether you're aligned on the most important ones.
Yes.
And personalities also play a huge part in a relationship. So some are more compatible, some are less. So as long as you're aware of these differences, sometimes people we can't always control the instinctive behavior. So that can work either for us or against us.
Yeah.
But yes, I know many international couples, well, us for once, and we can be very happy.
Yeah, fantastic. And last question for that segment is, what's one way couples can use a trip to connect deeper, emotionally, not physically?
Yes, also a really good one. Definitely, especially in a long-term relationship. So one of the dangers, the pitfalls in a long-term relationship is familiarity. One where, stuck in our routine, which feels great and feels comfortable, but to inject that excitement back into a relationship, I always advise to experience new things.
Yeah.
Because as such, we reconstruct our early dating days when everything was new and we were learning new things about a person.
Yeah.
And what better way than going on a trip together and not just sitting on the beach, but really exploring the location, trying new things, trying new experience. For a couple, it's an amazing way to bring some romance back into a relationship, to enhance it.
Yeah. So would you recommend, let's say you say you're speaking to like a particular person who's in a relationship with someone else. Would you recommend a holiday or something, getaway, or what would you recommend to them to hopefully bring that romance back together? Or have a closer connection?
Yes, if this is what they want to achieve, if they want to reinvigorate, refresh their relationship, it's wonderful. Just make sure you agree on the location you both like, because you can't drag someone on an adventure trip when they're just like exactly. So make sure that the destination, the activity, agrees with you both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think confidence in traveling translates into confidence in dating?
I think it most certainly can be, because when I help people with lack of confidence and low self-esteem, it's all about regular affirmations and trying new things. And they can be very, very small things, which is easy to achieve when you're traveling. Every day, do one thing to step outside your comfort zone, just to push yourself a little bit. For example, speak to a stranger, or even if you're a guy, smile at a woman, make eye contact. So if you do one small action like this every day, and you keep making notes of how it made you feel, it takes on average 3 weeks to reframe your mind and learn a new habit, or maybe let go of a habit. Traveling is probably one of the easiest ways to achieve it, because everything is new and different. So you are a little bit out of your comfort zone,
and you're quite relaxed
naturally, and you're relaxed as well. And if you're alone, who's there to judge? No one is watching. So.
So it's all about stepping out of your comfort zone. And I think I've learned from that today, because I've actually sat next to a snake. So that's one thing I've done, which is massive for me. So if we were to create a retreat or a travel experience together, what would your dream version look like?
Yes, well, somewhere in a quiet location for sure, where we don't have many distractions, and I love doing face-to-face training to a group, so it's a step-by-step process. And we always start with self-discovery. We look at past relationship patterns. And as a break, I suppose, when if you're in a retreat, it would be nice to break it up with some physical activity. Could be a walk, a mindful walk, or even some yoga and breathing. And then again, through self-discovery, we get onto identifying an ideal partner profile. And perhaps being in a remote, in a different location, will get your creative mind working, as opposed to when you're just at home, bogged down in a day-to-day.
Probably the same routine over and over again. Breaking that cycle could then bring back some fresh ideas and a renewal of your perspective on everything in life, I guess.
Exactly, especially relationships. And like I said, I always use research and science in my coaching. And when we get to the actual dating, the body language and the importance of power language and everything else in dating, the first impressions, early dating challenges, relationship expectations. It's very nice to do it in person with a group, so we can role play. Having said that, from my experience, women are keen to work in small groups, to attend workshops or relationship or otherwise. However, men are more reluctant to show up. And there are many reasons behind it, and of course the fundamental differences in how our brains are wired and our perception of the world. I have many male clients, and they do open up when they begin to trust me in one-to-one environments. However, I would like to encourage guys to to drop their armor and show their vulnerability, because there's nothing shameful in seeking help or asking for help. For example, when you're planning to run a marathon, you get a coach and you get help from them, and when it comes to dating and relationship, you can enlist the same kind of help. It's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of wisdom. Instead of making mistakes time and time again, if I can encourage men to come forward and ask for help, it's not really a sign of weakness. You will get the desired results. You will get them faster and with less pain and false starts. You need those.
And I know you come from a corporate background.
Yes.
What's your ideal client you're looking for? Is it just anyone you can work with, or how do you ever turn down a client because you just don't see much of a synergy between you two, or what does a good client look like for you?
I only I don't turn them down. I refer them to someone else. If clients exhibit signs of some deep unresolved trauma, borderline PTSD, when they have a really bad event they mention, which triggered their relationship issues. So as I'm not a therapist or a PTSD specialist, then I would refer them to a psychologist to focus on that specific issue. And then they can come to me for the relationship and dating part. Other than that, I am happy to talk to any client, a man or a woman, at any stage of their relationship or dating journey, and discuss the approach. Because as long as they have an open mind, we can work together.
Fabulous.
If they think they already know everything there is, well, I guess they could be pleasantly surprised.
I think you learn something every day, right?
Yes.
So let's say we did a retreat, and and what would you want people to leave with? Not just pretty photos, but something deeper outside of the experience you've had.
I would love to have people leave with clarity as to what they want and what they need to do to achieve it. So I always leave my clients with a strategy, which they can start implementing immediately, or they can implement it when they think they are ready. But this is something definitely a relationship and dating strategy.
Fantastic. So we're just closing off that podcast, and honestly, I've had a fantastic time. I think a lot of insight for people listening, and a couple of questions for you is, where can people find you if they wanted to work with you or follow you on your socials and follow your journey?
Yes, of course. My website is single-to-couple.com, and we'll share all the links. So it's Single to Couple on Facebook and Instagram. And you can find me on LinkedIn as well, Mila Smith.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Mila. And look out for the comments below. I will put all the URLs and all the links. You can actually follow Mila directly and contact her directly as well. And finally, if someone's listening and feeling stuck in their love life, what's the one thing you'd want them to hear today?
I would say the most important thing is a positive attitude, because negativity only attracts negativity. And although I don't believe in manifestation, positive affirmations are science-backed and they do work. So your positive attitude is infectious and it will bring you success. If you're feeling down and negative and you think, oh, there's no one there for me and all the good people are taken, I always see it as a sign of some unresolved relationship baggage, past emotional baggage, and have strategies to help people work through that baggage and feel excited about life and love again.
Yeah, fantastic. Mila, I can't thank you enough for today, and thank you for.
No, thank you.
It's been a long time coming, and I think I've learned personally from that experience with you. And if you're listening out there and you're interested to know more about what Mila does and how she can help you in your personal love life, please follow her today, like her page, reach out to her today because she's more than happy to help you and find that yourself. So Mila, again, thanks for joining me in Travel and Chill.
Thank you.
And we'll catch up soon.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.